When we say we are women, we mean that we are brave, we are strong, we are capable, we are unique, we are woman to woman.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Good afternoon, Africa. Welcome to our month of August. Welcome, Toko.
Thank you, Mrs. Sam. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to our viewers.
Should we explain to them why welcome to our month of August?
Yes.
It is Women's Month in South Africa. It is the month that we treasure the most because we talk about us women.
Yes, it's a great month and it's a month of significance. So every woman, this program of today, you are going to be blessed.
And there is something I've learned here, and it's true. Watinta bafasi, watinta. Can we translate for them and give the meaning of this?
You strike a woman, you strike a woman, you strike a stone. Yes.
You see?
Or a rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because women are strong, though we don't believe.
Yes. Yeah.
We think that we have so many flaws. We second guess ourselves, look more at our weakness, but we are strong. God has made us strong.
I think what makes women not to believe that they are strong, they categorize it masculine. They think that this is the strength we are talking about. Because men, they have strength, like humanly speaking and masculine, but us women, we are not like that. Our strength comes from within, because this strength is the one that helps us to go through struggles in our lives.
And many. And we have learned through the story of this country, this beautiful story of the women in this country, how strong we can be, not in the absence of fear, but when fear is there. So we are going to make of this teaching from the women of 1956 who walked the streets from Pretoria to Johannesburg, or on the opposite, from Johannesburg to Pretoria, to give their petition so that they could work. And in that moment, not a moment, I think good 2 hours of walk, they could have been killed.
Yes.
But they faced.
Especially those times they could have.
They could have.
Yes.
Next week, we are going to bring more understanding about what happened on the 9th of August, 1956, and why we treasure so much the month of August. And we learn, we rewind the past so that we can learn in the present and project for the future.
And you know this term, watinta bafazi, watinta mbogoto, meaning that you strike a woman, you strike a rock, it suits very well with them and with the 9th of August, because really, as you mentioned, that they could have been killed. It was a risk that they were ready to take, and they didn't care if they were going to be killed or not, because they were already tired. When you are tired, you don't care. You are ready to die for what you believe in.
They had their babes in the back.
In the back, yes.
And that is one of the images we can't forget. But we're not going to give you much, because next week it's a full celebration to the spirit that those women left for us. And we were thinking about this month of August, how to celebrate this strength when, as a matter of fact, we don't confess strength. We mostly confess weakness.
Yes.
And we think that we cannot face, we cannot make, that we are not going to overcome. Looking back at those women, they teach us the lesson that fear and courage go together. The difference is, how do we use our strength? So we are going to share with you today those who had to apply strength to overcome their past. Did they make it? We shall find out. We are going to hear the story of Maria. Maria didn't know her father. Then, of course, she was sent back home, and how many stories alike we have in South Africa.
A lot. Yeah.
She was sent to the homeland. There she suffered as a young child. She suffered abuse. And she had a fear throughout her life up until adulthood. why my father left me and what's going to happen when I need to reconnect with him. Though she wanted very much to know the father. And you're going to find out what happened, that she was disappointed again by her father, and how to move on and share a house with a man who was the husband of her mother and a stepfather to her. And all those fears of rejection, of abuse, of not connecting. So let us watch and see how she overcame.
I'm Maria Mdluli. My growing up, I was brought by my mother to my grandmother. I was a small baby. She just came and dropped to my grandmother and went back to Johannesburg to work, because she told my grandmother that she was running away from my father, because my father wanted to take me to be raised by his family in Limpopo. So my mother didn't want. So I grew up with my grandmother. She was the one who was taking care of me, who was looking after me. And I grew up not knowing my mother, because my grandmother was the one who was always there. Even when I was sent back from school, it was my grandmother who was looking after me. So I remember the other time, I was about maybe 8 to 9. We were sleeping together with my aunt, my cousins, in one room with my grandmother. And there's this family member who used to come and pick me up from the blankets, taking me to his room and sexually assaulted me. It happened several times. And I didn't tell anyone, because I thought my grandmother and my aunt who was sleeping with me that time, they see, they know. And as a child, I thought they'll fight on my behalf, or they'll rescue me. And I became to be that lonely child. I was afraid of boys at school. I was not associating with boys. Even to the point of being at high school, I was very fearful. And it happened that some other time, I was already at high school that time, we talked with my friends to say, you know what, let's just experience how is it to have boyfriends. Because I didn't even tell them what I went through while I was at that age. And they say, let's experience to have boyfriends. Okay, I agreed, though I have that, that fearful thing. I had a boyfriend, and it happened that some other time he came to my house asking if I can take him, halfway to his family. I went with him. It was that time of the night, not at night, in fact, in the evening. But I said, okay, what about my grandmother? No, he said, we'll come back, it's fine. So I went with him, and it happened that that time it was like no going area, because we had some riots. But it was so quiet in the village. It happened that we met two men who approached us, and the other one just grabbed me. And this boyfriend said, what's happening? He just pulled out the firearm, pointed at him, and he just kept quiet. So he took me to the nearest bushes and sexually assaulted me. And it happened that now it came back. You know what happened when I was young? I blamed myself. So before I arrived home, I passed by my friend's house, telling her what's happened to me. Because I was like, I was not myself. At least I wanted some comfort, someone to tell me that, no, it's okay. And she said to me, you know what, when you arrive home, try to drink, to mix up the cleaning stuff things, like jig and those things, and drink so that you mustn't fall pregnant. I said, okay, if there's a solution, because that's one thing that I'm fearful of beside what's happened to me. And when I arrived home, I couldn't even tell my grandmother. And it happened that my mother came, my aunt found her. She came, and then I was happy that, she'll help me to further my studies. But she said to me, no, I can't be able to help you. But you know, your father is working somewhere at the nearest surrounding, police station. He's a police officer. And I said, oh, and she said, he's the one who can take you to school. She gave me the names and the address for me to go there. I didn't know my father. I never met him. It was going to be the first time I approached him. The way he was, and he looked at me. I told him, who am I? And then he asked me some few questions. I told him, who am I? And he embraced me, said, oh, you are my child. I was happy. I was relieved. Though I didn't have that close relationship with any, a male person, because I grew up fearing them, far away from them, I may say. He took me back to my aunts. We exchanged the numbers, and I had hope that things will change. At least I found my mom, though she couldn't help me, but my father is here now. It was like days passed, no call. I tried to call back. Okay, I found him first time and said, I'm still busy, I'm very busy, I'll come back to you. A month, 2 months went by, nothing. And it happened that my mother came to my aunt to take me to stay with her because they bought a house somewhere in Joburg. And she told me that you are going to stay with your stepfather. And it didn't settle me well. But she tried to talk to me because I wanted help. I wanted, to go ahead in my life. I went to stay with them, though I was not free. I was not free, and I wouldn't allow to be alone without my mother, with my stepfather only. He's not my real father. And what I went through the years, I cannot trust. I cannot have that, open relationship with him. He knows that I'm not his child. What if, the way I was fearing men could happen? So I was avoiding that. I was not to be able to say, let me just face my fear. No, I was like just afraid.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. You see that, first of all, she didn't know the father, the biological father. Then she lives with her mother and the stepfather, thinking that things will be fine. I will have a father with me. Then she's rejected again. So
and all that resentment for the
Yes,
father who left her, and she had
exactly.
been through all that. It's difficult for one to believe that life can be good.
Yeah, because I think now that she's with the stepfather, she thought maybe things will be better, ne? That I have a father now, and this one also rejects her. So it becomes double rejection now, and it's very painful for her. I believe she started having a lot of resentment in the heart.
Do you think it will be possible for her to connect with his stepfather and the fears?
Yeah.
Let us see.
I was coming to stay with my aunt. She was the one who was coming to church. So she introduced me. When I arrived for the first time, it was amazing. It was so full that time. It was like the basement place was hot. But when I left, it was something that was taken away from me, from my shoulder. I felt light. And I said, you know what? I have to come regularly. I remember I told myself that, you know what? The time I get the job, I'm not going to look after my parents. I'm just going to, like taking them like they are no longer there. They are not in my life. I said, I'm going to revenge. I'm going to pay back what they did to me. But when I used to come, I learned about, forgiveness. And when I think of them, it was not easy. It was not easy at all. To the point that I say, this is bothering me. Let me go and talk to the pastor. to tell him what is happening with me. I want a breakthrough and I've got this with me inside. Okay, I tried, I forgave my mother. It was like coming through. But to my father, I said, no, that one is out of my life. He's not my father. No, that one is something. But I was not getting that peace. It was not giving me peace. Because when I visit them and I remember the words that are being preached and what the servant of God has said to me about forgiveness, I tried to practice. It was hard. Especially when he didn't take any steps or he was not making any means to come closer to me. I was the one who's supposed to, to go to him, to realize that, no, let me make peace. It was not easy at all. But I pray about it to say, Lord, help me. And I remember, when I tried to talk to him, when you force something, you want to do, I try by all means. And he was there. I gave myself, to say, you know what, let me just make this, trying to talk to him, to ask him some things. That doesn't include, my growing up, but something, how was your day? Something to make me to come closer to him. And eventually it did work out. And I look at him with different eyes. I say, okay, it was not him. I started to look at him as my father. Even though he was doing some things, because he was not coming to church that time also, I bear what he was saying, what he was doing, trying to show the positive side to him, to say he will change. But I make up with my parents, both of them. I got the job and I accept them as my parents. I look after them. We developed to have that kind of relationship. The fear of, being afraid of being around male person, it went out little by little when I was in the church, when I was praying to God, when I come to him, look at him with the different eyes, believing that, no, you know what, he's my mother's husband and he's my stepfather. Let me take this as a connection together, if I may say, bringing together the family. The fear started to go away, to disappear when I started to have that love for him, looking at him with the different eyes and say, you know what, he also needs help. He may be, at his corner, but he also needs help. And the love started to be there. My relationship with my mom and my stepfather, my father, it was amazing because they were showing love. When you see that you messed up there and you want to make up of what you lost, it's like, you make everything. It was amazing. I felt loved. I felt the parents' love. When I was with my mom, because she passed on, I felt that, it's like my friend. I couldn't remember even the things that happened there. It was, even though she was this secretive person, because when I try, maybe, we talk about some things that happened, she was very secretive. She could just change the subject. But the love was there. The love was there. She could even always say, my child, I'm sorry about that. Say, no, forget, it's fine. She was always trying to, thinking that I've got something against her, a grudge or what. But I always tell her, no, I do love you also. Because she was always telling me, I love you, my child. And with my father, it was amazing. It was amazing. Though now I'm left with him, my stepfather, I don't even look at him as the stepfather. I love him as my father because he even have that thing to say, my child, my baby. That was like, really? but it was amazing. And I was like, okay, my God, this is only your work. Because he even comes with me to church. When he's, although we don't stay together, he visits me regularly, of course, and he sees me as his daughter. And I take him as my father. So our relationship is amazing. I love him and he loves me. So that's what is amazing.
You see the beauty of it.
Yeah.
She managed to conquer her fears, and today she has a relationship with this man. Even though the mother has passed, now she has a relationship with the stepfather as if he was her father. When her father, her biological father, had died and she never connected with him. But she had to battle her fears.
Her fears, yeah. But you see, it became possible. They ended up, being together again as a daughter and father and daughter.
Yeah.
So it's possible. At times it's possible, really, to repair the relationship. Yeah, I think now we are going to introduce someone here.
It's a bit different story.
Yes, it's a different story from the one of Maria. We are going to introduce to you a beautiful couple called Tutuzeli Sobantu and his wife Tabang Sobantu. Yes, let's hear their story now.
They had to conquer fear over and over in their professional life, marriage life, but let us not say much. They speak quite well about what they felt.
So let's watch them.
My name is Mtutuzeli Sobantu, and
I'm Tabang Sobantu.
And I teach for a living.
Same here.
I think it all started when I was in university. I was doing mathematics, and different agencies from overseas and local as well that were sorting talents, not really talents, but people who were doing mathematics, science, and English. And so that's when I started realizing that there could be, an opportunity, and that interest, was aroused in me. And I started researching and stuff. I think I was in second year, and third year and fourth year, definitely I knew that, I would love to travel, but I never imagined that it would have been, it would be Middle East, for instance, where I would start. When I got to the country, like from the airport, I could see people wearing like dresses, men wearing dresses, and that was the first time for me to see that. It was weird, and dresses, and had turbans and stuff. So from then, how they greet, the food, and religion, everything is different. So
I'm sure it was a huge culture shock.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was, definitely.
Well, when I met him, he was here for a vacation. The schools had closed, and then he was here for the vacation. And one of the first things I think I asked him was, "Are you going back?" And my darling husband said, "No, I am not going back." I'm like, "Oh, okay, good." And indeed, for that time we were dating, he did not go back because I didn't know how the things work out. Fine, he came around November, and then so we started talking and started dating. And I raised that question because I told him that if you're not going to stay, I need to make up my mind and think whether do I want this or not, because I don't want to find myself caught in the middle of this journey. So I asked him and he said, "No, I'm not going anywhere." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Now we're working on this." Fine. And then we date, we talk, we get to know one another. And as time progresses towards August, my darling husband says, "I have to go." I'm like, "But you said you're not going." And now I've grown to love him even more. We know, you are mine and I'm yours. We are there, we know that. And he's like, I am going. I'm like, okay, but you said you're not going. And I understood because the schools are reopening. The academic year, that side is different. It starts from September till June. So he was here during the holidays and until he continued just to be with me. But then he said he was leaving in August. And I said, oh, okay. And my heart was a bit like broken. I'm like, oh, I've spent the entire 8 months, 9 months with this person and now he's going. I'm like, oh, okay. And I still remember the last day when he was leaving, he made me a leather ring because he loves leather. He made me a leather ring and he gave me as like, you know, I'm coming back. So hold on to this. I'm such a romantic, so I was like, I have a leather ring here to hold on to. And I did let him go, but we still continued talking every day. Nothing changed for us except the distance. We still started talking. And when he mentioned now that he's going back, I have to think, what would I have to do on my side about that? I was working, I had my own house, I have family this side, so I had to think a lot of things about that, yeah. When did we start talking about marriage? Not from the beginning. No, but when you left, I mean, I think we both, from the beginning, we did say that we want this to be a long-lasting thing. We don't want just for now type of thing. So we both went in with marriage in mind, definitely. Then now I had to think, what am I going to do with the house? What am I going to do with my job? You know, I had to think about those things. What is my family going to think, you know? They know, they've met him, but you know, family, you're like, but are you sure? You know? So I started thinking, well, for me personally, I loved traveling just as he does. I've always been open to the idea of traveling. So it was excitement at the same time, that sense of, I don't know what will happen, but I'm excited. On my part, I knew I was making the right decision, but the people around me, I remember one of my bosses when I was resigning, he said, you were so brave. You decided to leave everything for someone and you're going to a country that you don't even know. And they were like, I applaud you for your bravery. That was my boss. And I never forget. I was like, no, I am ready for this. And others were saying like, but you don't even know where you guys are going. How are you going to live there? Why don't you work a bit or let him come this side? A lot of ideas because people were fearful. But on my side, honestly, I was ready for a new thing. And I was like, yes, I'm fearful, but at the same time, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. And I still remember in the verse that I read in the Bible when I was flying, because I was like, okay, God, I'm going to a new place. What do you have here? He said, wherever you set your feet, I have given you. That is the verse that I opened when I read my Bible. And that gave me confidence as well. But when I landed, the things that I've searched, because there are things that I thought they are common to everybody in the world. As he said, when you get to the airport, it's totally different. I'm like, okay, men are wearing white dresses. Women are wearing black dresses and all covered. I can barely see who is this person that I'm looking at. I only see the eyes. Like, okay. And the language as well, you know. And then fine, he fetched me and then we saw the city. And for me, one of the first culture shock I got was in terms of the working environment, I would say. I did industrial engineering. So this side, I was an engineer, right? And as a woman. But when we got to where I was, there were no women in engineering. There were barely women that were working. I'm like, huh. I was shocked because I still remember when he would leave to go to school, I would take the car to go to the city and say, oh, I have my CV. When I walk around, there's nothing. There's no place where I can put in my CV and say, okay, I did industrial engineering, this and this and this and this. And it's mainly men at that place. You will never see a woman. If you see only one, maybe, during the day. And those were the culture shocks for me.
Oh my gosh. And this is just the beginning of the story. There is so much more. You see how many changes both of them had to face along the years so that they could establish themselves professionally and also being married. Because I remember well, Taban said, I'm only going to marry someone who is from God, who is really a man of God. But I don't think she was prepared to the fact that she would have to move away and stay away. Now you're going to see another fear. They want to start a family. Being away from home, but having that mentality that they would like to have a child. How do you think about having a child in a country that is so different than yours, far away from family that could assist somehow, and how to bring up that child?
It's hard. I know from the experience of my parents, it's very hard. Because even me as a firstborn, you know, my parents are South Africans, they were in other countries. My father wanted his firstborn to be born in South Africa, though it was not possible. It was at the border. So it's very hard. It's very hard, yeah.
They had to conquer their fears because they went away exactly because of the regime. For the same purpose of those women who marched, they had to live here and fight for the freedom we have in this country.
That's true.
And how you think about having a family when you are running away for your life.
For your life,
and you have an ideology, a cause.
True.
And they wanted you to be born in South Africa.
They wanted, yes, okay, I was born at the border of South Africa. Anyway, it happened. Their dream came true, but not in the way they wanted. It was very difficult. So I can imagine, this couple, trying to plan a family there. It's something we know very well because we travel a lot.
Yeah.
It's something that we know that it's not easy in other countries to adjust. The cultures are very, very different. Everything, the language. Imagine now with children in that place. Yeah.
Let us see if they conquered their fears and if they made it.
I think when it comes to family, I didn't think that far that my kids would be, influenced and because they would have to know the language, for instance, for them to mingle. Like, you don't find, it's not like here in Africa where you find your kid playing there, in the streets and stuff like that. So in most cases, we stay in our compound or within the flat, like as internationals. So if my child would play, she or he would be playing within the compound, with the kids, international kids, of which most of them are Christians. But I really didn't fear much when it comes to them adopting. I think the thought is coming out now as my child is growing, because I remember we went to another country, Uzbekistan, next to Russia, and that's where my boy attended kindergarten, and he was speaking Russian, so we wouldn't understand what he's saying. And, I would love him to explore, but I think when it comes to religion, he would be getting that from us, basically.
We were in Oman, and I think for me the fear was it's just the two of us there. We don't have anybody else apart from our colleagues. So how are we going to work this out? Am I going to leave my job and be a stay-at-home mom? What are we going to do, Are we going to hire someone from here? But a majority of the people from there speak a different language. So, but we eventually found a way out, and then we asked one of my sisters-in-law to come and help us with our son while I go back to work. So that worked out perfectly for us. But the first 2 months, it was just 3 months, because she came on the 4th month, if I'm not wrong. So for the first 3 months, it was just literally the two of us as first-time parents. And thank God we made it. The child is alive. And then now it came, we moved to a different country. We went to Uzbekistan. And there as well, we had our daughter. And now the challenge there was there's literally no English. In Oman, my gynae spoke English. She was Indian. She spoke English. But in Uzbekistan, there is no English. It's only Russian and Uzbek language. Those are the two. So you know that you're walking into a place, they're not going to hear you in English, forget it. And I had my gynae there. She would call her daughter who was studying in Russia, she knows English, to translate. Like, okay, Shakhnoza, here is Tawang. And then I'll tell her, okay, please check this. And then she translates to her mom in Russian, and that's how it worked. Even in labor, imagine in labor, I had to have a translator in labor. Was that fun? I don't know, but for me it was an adventure, I guess. But those were one of the challenges, that I had to have a translator in the labor room. And the weather as well, baby. Uzbekistan was very cold.
Well, both extremes, I guess.
Oh yes, both extremes, because Oman is extremely hot.
It's extremely hot. Like 12 o'clock, there's no one walking in the streets.
Yes.
2 o'clock, there's like people sleep.
Yeah, it's nap time for the country.
Nap time
for majority of people.
Stores closed.
Stores closed.
Right. Especially in the villages, the malls are open. The malls are open.
But
exactly, but in the villages, no one is walking in the streets because it's extremely
hot.
It's extremely hot.
You won't see a child playing there.
Extremely hot. A car without aircon is useless. So, very, very hot.
In a house without an aircon, it's useless.
50 degrees. Yeah. So, and when we went to Uzbekistan, it was minus 30, minus 20.
Extremely cold.
Yeah, like ice, like here. Cars moving ice from the road. So I think that was weather shock, if I may. Yeah, it was very different from it's like jackets. Like we'd stay 3 months without having to go out of the complex. Not really the complex, but we're in a school, exactly. And the school compound, right, teachers' quarters and stuff. So I moved from here, going to the schools, like the walkway leads from...
Literally in one building.
In one building,
in
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. The other time we stayed like 3 months without going out.
Yeah,
my son stayed 3 months without going out, and my sister as well was there helping us. So yeah, I think if I had to fear when it comes to religion, it would be more in Uzbekistan and Russia sides, because they don't speak English at all, and they do not have their kindergartens as well. They're speaking Russian and Uzbek, as I said, that my son was speaking Uzbek and Russian. But in Oman, the schools that we work for, the kindergarten, they hire like international teachers, and my son does not have to attend Islamic studies or relational whatever. So when these subjects come, then they are out with other teachers and stuff. So they don't get to necessarily engage when it comes to religion subjects and stuff like that. Yeah, because there are other international kids that are there as well. So I think the fear is toned down. Yeah, but it's something we're constantly thinking, and so we bring them up knowing that there is this as well outside. Yeah, it's there as a thought, and it's just a small fear.
You see that
Russian.
yeah. And you see the courage they had, because if you think of that country, Russia, all these places, totally different from Africa. It's like another planet, ne? But they still had another child again you know, 2 kids in that country. See how difficult it could be with children. And then children, what language are they going to speak? Because both you and their husband, you speak different kinds of languages. But they still had courage even to make children there, you know. And then now, again, another change, a shift comes. Let's go back home. And home, what happens home now?
Let us find out.
I think one of the reasons we decided to come back home was that after having the second child, we were like, especially where we were in Uzbekistan, it wasn't much of a, it wasn't friendly, you know, kid friendly, absolutely. So we felt like, no, I think let's go home so that we can re-strategize, because definitely where we are at this moment, it's not a good place for our kids. So that was the main thing. And then we came home and just trying to think, okay, are we gonna be here long term? Or are we just taking a break? You know, getting to see if being at home, how will that work out for our kids? How will that work out for us as professionals? So that's when we decided, no, let's just go home and then we'll see from there. We'll see from there.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, you know, you're coming back, and you have to start over as well. But
yeah,
you know, you have to, you know, you're not working. Whether we were going to work here or not, it was still we're still thinking. But then definitely we needed a house, we needed a car, we needed all that, and that had to be in place. And we started like figuring out, okay, what are we going to do? Do I go back and work? Is it do we go for business?
Do I go back to working as an engineer?
Yeah. Those were definitely the fears, because now it's no longer just us. With us, we can just backpack and be anywhere, like we've been, you know, going around. So, yeah, that was the fear. But God was with us, because we had saved enough to put some for business so that we can earn some. What you call some income, passive income, and so that if I'm not working, then I'm not actually struggling or rushing to, you know, to look for a job there and there. I would know that at least my family is taken care of. I think for me as a man, that was my greatest worry, and I got that part, you know, figured out.
And again, for me, it was the safety aspect. Most of the countries that we've traveled to are very safe. You know, it's one of them has zero crime rate. So now coming home, we know we do have a problem at home. You have those thoughts, you know, the safety of your kids, my safety, my husband's safety. So now you have those things to think about. Like when he leaves and goes, say, I'm going elsewhere, I'm thinking, the possibilities, you know, those possibilities are now available. Whereas in other countries, I don't even think, oh, they could want his car, they could take his phone, they could do those are not even the thoughts I ponder. I think for now, we're still deciding. We'll see how it goes. Or what?
I think for me, that was the best choice I made.
Of traveling, right?
Yes, traveling. Different cultures.
Yeah.
Here you've got different cultures, but they're more or less the same.
Yes.
But like overseas, I had people from Lebanon. Right? These are places you read about.
Yeah, that is one of the exciting things for me. Egypt.
Friends from Egypt, from Sinai.
Yeah.
From Bethlehem and stuff. And when we have conversations, it's like I'm speaking right to the edge. And I ask them questions, I start so I think for me, traveling opens your perspective.
Definitely does.
Not only about people, about religion, and it helps you not only because to what you read, like you're speaking to them, you understand. You've got people from
The
Finland,
Philippines,
Philippines, from Europe, from New Zealand,
Paris.
you know, all these places. So I think I would do that again. I would do that again. But I think now what I would do before I leave is to just make sure you set your finances, you know, right.
Have something running.
Yeah, have something running, and because you wouldn't want to come back and still work as a teacher.
But one thing for me that stands out in all these places, just to go, I am from Soweto. So at home, every time I would go, whenever I would go to get water, I'd always look up as I wait for the tap to fill the bucket. And I'll always see 3 lined stars. And I remember all the time I would always think of God whenever I see those 3 stars. I'm like, God is amazing. So I made that a thing that I do wherever I go in every country, and I'll be amazed that man, those are the 3 stars I used to see at home. I'd be in Bahrain, those are the 3 stars. I'll be in Uzbekistan, those are the 3 stars. So that for me was like, God is one and God is everywhere. I really loved that. It always reminded me of home and reminded me of God, because I see the same thing. It might be in a different angle, spot, but it is there. My angle may be different, but they're still there, lined up as I used to see them when I was still growing up in Soweto. So I loved that experience.
So we'll do it again, right?
I think we might. Let's not.
I'm just
We
saying,
don't know. Yeah, we might not. Let's not tell them anything.
Not only being back home and starting all over again, we had Taban here for the show this year, and also saying, but we're ready to go if that is the case.
Yeah.
They're living like pastors.
They're nomads.
I think they are getting used to live just like us.
Yes.
Isn't that?
They might as well join us.
Yeah, they can come. Toko, we're talking about the fears they conquered. Would you have anything you could share with us that you had to overcome fear in the past?
Yes, it's a lot. I have a lot. I'll mention only one. In the past, in the beginning, my father, because he was in another country, and my mom, so we had to be taken to another country to study there. I would say Tanzania. Yeah, there was a school called Solomon Mahlangu Freedom College. It's named after Solomon Mahlangu. Yeah. They know, the South Africans, they know him. So when I went, I was going there, my father told me that now, though you are young, you are going to fend for yourself, not financially speaking. They won't be dead going like if you are beaten in school or someone is doing something to you, Daddy this and this, then Daddy will go there with you.
Because you were Daddy's girl.
Yeah, very much. So I had to, Mrs. M, I really had to forget about my dad. Okay, my mom, I love my mom as well, but my dad was like protection for me. So when I was sent there together with my cousin brother who's in Pretoria, it was a jungle. Though our teachers, those who studied there, if you are from exile, who studied there, our teachers were most of the parents. They took only the parents for protection. They couldn't take an outsider. So we were there. I remember the first time that I had arrived, it was 2 days. We were sleeping and a thief came in and naked, but totally naked in Tanzania. Gosh. And it happened to be Maasai, Tanzanian Maasai, yes. Naked and was so shiny, but shiny. Then, of course, I slept. I said, no, I'm not going to move because what if he kills me? And then, okay, later on, they took whatever they took from us. Then the following day, in the dormitories, when we were called, the meeting was called, then we were told, now, welcome. They gave us guns, Mrs. M.
Oh my gosh.
I remember I was holding an AK-47. I've never touched it. I used to see it from my dad. Then we were told that we, like in school, we didn't have guards. So each one of us, we are going to be guards on that day.
How old were you?
I think I was 13.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you are going to be guards and all that. I think in their minds they thought, oh, of course, your dad is a freedom fighter, you know how to use a gun. But my father has never taught me how to use a gun because I'm a girl, you know.
And 13 years old.
Yes, and then I said, no, I am not going to touch this gun. What if it shoots me? I became afraid. And I was just looked at, they said, okay, if you don't want to touch it, that nobody's going to protect you, you'll protect yourself. I had to take courage and take the gun and hold it the whole morning until night. The whole night until morning. I had to give in the courage, that courage of holding a gun, that if someone comes, I don't know what to do, but I will hold it just to scare the person, because I didn't really know how to use gun. So I just said, for sure, a person, if they see me with a gun, they will be scared. An AK-47, a bazooka, come on. So I had to get that courage. I had to leave away the fear, everything, because I was so much afraid. I was afraid of guns. Even when my dad would start cleaning his guns in the house, I would come out. I never liked guns, grenades, all these things. I would see them at home. But that day, I had to stand, because if I'm killed here, so let me do it. I did it. I overcame my fear just to hold a gun.
Did you ever need to use it?
I never used it.
Thanks God.
Never, thank God.
Imagine I would find out here.
No,
after,
my cousin used it.
Almost 30 years. Then my friend here had to use a gun. Oh gosh.
Imagine. No, you would have known long time ago about it if I'd used it.
Yeah, you see. No, but I never knew you had to have an AK-47 in your hands.
I had to. It was so big. Heavier than my body. 13 years old, heavier than my body. Yeah, so those are the things we go through in life sometimes. Yeah.
When we're talking about overcoming the fears of the past, is that because we have been there.
Yes.
And it's easy to talk about that today. But who knows if today you're going through a situation which you need to confront your fears, isn't that?
That's true. That's true. Can I ask you a question too? I know, Miss M, you worked for the corporate world back in the days, and you were this go-getter person and a woman. I believe you worked with a lot of men. Yeah. I could see in the picture there in the book as well, from wound to scar. Yes, I saw that. Did you have to, because as a go-getter, a woman, you become a threat to people, especially men. So in those times, back in the days when you were working, were there any instances or times that you had fears because you are working with men and you had to overcome those fears?
I had to, because as a matter of fact, before getting married, I didn't know I was going to get married. I had already signed a contract to stay and work in Switzerland.
Yes, I remember you said.
And working with men. I was the only woman in the organization who was in the position I was, moving to Switzerland. And all those concerns, because now imagine I was dating a pastor, but I didn't know when we were going to get married, because in between our relationship was canceled. It's a long story that it's for another day.
Yes.
So I had to move. I didn't know what to expect. It was a very different kind of life that I had, because I had been there on course, on training. And, in my country, I was the only one, and somehow I was respected for that position. What would happen to go and work overseas?
Yeah.
It was not my land, it was not my culture, it was not my language, and I didn't know how people would interact.
And your country has only one language, no? Yeah.
How people would interact with me. But in that moment, I was already in the church. And I put my trust in God. If I had to do that, if it was according to His plans, I would do it. It was not according to His plans, because then I got married and I had to cancel that contract. But I would feel, mostly, believe me, from other women, that sort of rejection.
I get it.
Not much from the guys. They were very encouraging. But from women, I would resent more.
Yeah.
And I had to do my best, because I had my contract. I would do what I liked, and I didn't care much if they were happy or not. I would perform as I should.
Yeah.
But always there is a fear of not being
Yes,
accepted.
yes. And you know, what you mentioned here, it's what I went through when I was working for King Edward Hotel in Port Elizabeth. People who supported me as a manager at a young age were men. Women, oh my God, women can be mean. I'm telling you, the problem, we have the spirit of competition, you know. So I think that was what you were going through, because competing, oh,
Very
she's going
much.
to take my place. Oh, she's here, she thinks she's what? Because she's intelligent. So I think women sometimes
And
we
afraid
can
of
be,
what would be on the other side.
Yes.
That I would
So-
not basically understand their language.
Exactly.
Because we would speak English, but of course, being in Brazil, we would speak Portuguese, and being in Switzerland,
Yeah, you
they would speak the Swiss Dutch, that
Yes.
it was their language. So I would not understand what they were talking about me.
And imagine if you had to go there, and then you go through that, the women start doing that to you in the country that is not even yours.
Yeah.
You even feel very rejected as a person. Yeah.
But I was prepared, because if God would set that path for me, I was prepared.
Yeah.
However, I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I just
Because
got
God had
married
other
before.
plans.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
got married before. So that is the thing we have to face. And I
Yes.
think we could take the opportunity here and use of this month of August to draw a lesson.
Yes.
Women, be our best sponsors, our best supporters.
Supporters.
Because unfortunately, what we see is that women going against women.
But a lot, even on social media, it's always like that. They don't support each other, bashing each other. You know, someone is going through something, they add on it. Mostly it's women, it's not even men.
Imagine if those women of 1956
Oh.
would look into their differences.
Yeah.
They
And what
would
made
not-
them overcome whatever they wanted, it's because they were united, they were one. And God honored, because God honors something that is, unity. Unity is power, actually. That's what
Yes.
we usually say.
Yeah.
Unity is power, yeah.
Imagine if we would have been enjoying of this freedom of today with so many opportunities for women because of the women of
Yeah.
1956.
It's true. It's true. Beautiful indeed. A story of these women, powerful women, not powerful in strength, but inside.
If someone asks me what is my favorite holiday, of course, not talking about religious feasts, religious holidays, but
Yes.
holidays with meaning,
With meaning.
there is nothing like August 9.
Exactly.
Nothing.
And we should learn from them.
Yeah.
We should learn from them. Most of them are no longer even alive today. But
I think only one.
Most of them are no longer alive, but they left a legacy.
I
They
think
left
it's
a
only
legacy.
Sophie de Bruyne.
I forgot the
Bruyne.
name. Yes, yes.
I think she's the only survivor of that march.
And their
we
legacy did not
congratulate-
die.
No.
Yeah, did not die.
This is the strength of women. We can leave a legacy. You see the point that we wanted to show, that even to overcome fear, you need to find strength. It does not mean that you're going to face that without any fear.
Yes, yes.
You will. You will ask questions. How about tomorrow? You will have to start all over again. And where does it come from? Strength. Strength is what propels us to go ahead. But now, where do we get strength from? That is what it all means for today.
Yeah. All right. So what it all means today, I always say to people that, everything in life is a risk. I even tell the ladies who always ask me about doing the work of God on the altar, sometimes they are afraid, they have fears, they have their fears because of things that they hear. I always tell them, even if you don't do the work of God on the altar, life itself, it's a risk. You wake up, you go to work, it's a risk. You don't know what will happen to you on the way. You don't know if you're going to have a car accident or whatever. So everything in life is a risk, but which risk are you willing to take? That's where, for me, that's what I can say, that which risk are you willing to take as a person? Because at the end of the day, we always have to take risks. If we do not take risks, we will never move ahead. We are going to be stagnant. And you know what happens to water that is stagnant? It ends up smelling, meaning that you will go nowhere, you will not be able to do anything in life, you will not overcome anything, because to To have this kind of life, risk takers, to become a risk taker, you need courage. And the courage we have can only come from God, because the humanly courage is limited, is very limited. You might have courage in something small because you know that this won't need efforts. But with the courage of God, you can go anywhere because you know that it's not you. It's God who's going to help you overcome whatever you have to overcome or achieve what you have to achieve in life. So life is a risk. If you are a risk taker, then, and you trust in God, because it's God who's going to give you the strength, give him a chance and he will give you strength for you to have this courage and overcome everything that you need to overcome.
And I'm going to share with you God's point in this. And we could not select any other Bible verse if not Philippians 4:13. Because it says like this, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And this Bible verse is widely preached in the church. You can do all things. But did we really understand that when it said we can do all things, it also means we can go without, we can be deprived, we can be denied, we can be rejected, we can be falsely accused. And how to overcome it? How to dictate that the past will not dictate our present and our future? Only turning to God. Because it doesn't say that on our own we can do all things, that the strength comes from us. No, it says through Christ, he is the source of our strength, because he had to face fears as well. Or do you think that when he was heading to the cross, he did not fear? So much so he said, God, if it is possible, pass it away from me. He had that down moment to say, if it's possible, please. If it is not, may your will be done. So because he faced his fears, he conquered his strength. And in him, through him, we can do all things. Not only good things, not only achievements, conquests, but we can go through hard moments. We can be betrayed. We can be ill-treated. We can go in want. We can be tested in our faith. We can be mocked because of our belief. But through Christ, we will withstand. He, through his strength, will strengthen us. So what is it that you're going through and you say, I don't have the strength. I cannot accept this. Today I wanted to tell you, not only for conquests, but the strength from Christ is to overcome whatever you're going through right now. Through him, you will make it, because you can all things. Toku, there are those who might be going through difficult. We're celebrating those who overcame and we overcame.
Yes, yes.
But probably we have people out there who did not overcome. Fear is still ruling their lives.
Yeah.
Shall we pray?
Yes, please. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, in the name of your Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, my God, I pray right now for this woman that is going through difficult moments, maybe in her marriage, workplace, or even at school, my God. Father, I pray that you give them strength. Some of them, my Lord, maybe they are going through rejection, being despised. They don't even know what to do. They've given up. They think that they don't have strength anymore to go forward. Some of them, they don't even know what to do anymore because of so much pain inside of their hearts. Lord Jesus Christ, you went through shame. You went through pain, beatings, a lot of things, people spitting on you, my Father. You are the perfect example of pain, my Lord. But my Father, when the time came for you to be on the cross, Lord, you cried, humanly speaking. You said, may this cup pass, because it was painful. Humanly speaking, you could not endure it, but at the end of the day, you gave in to the will of God. You said, may your will be done. So, my Father, At this moment, I ask you to teach this woman to allow your will to be done in her life. Even though they have given up, my Lord, they don't have strength anymore, but my Father, let that strength that is remaining, the small one, my Lord, be used to bring glory to your name. May they submit to your will, because only your will is the best for us, my Lord. So I pray, my Lord, I know that there are so many women that are going through pain as we speak. Some of the pains, we don't even know them. We can't even mention them. But whatever pain they are going through, my Lord, give them strength. The same way you gave strength to the women of 1956, and they marched for their cause. And my Father, they were not afraid. They were ready to die. My God, may this woman stand up and dust her feet and come to you, Lord, so that you can give her strength to overcome, so that they can be a great testimony tomorrow, my Lord. I pray, my Lord, and I ask you that you give them strength even when they do not believe, they do not trust that there is a hope. Give them hope, my Lord. Speak to their minds, not to their hearts. Some of them, they are so emotional, my Father, that they can't even hear your voice. But today, through this prayer, my Lord, may they hear your voice. Speak to them, my Lord. And after speaking to them, my Lord, may they be able to put into practice what they've heard today here, so that your name can be glorified in their lives. Reach out to every woman, my Lord, even those who are forgotten, my Lord. Nobody even knows their name. Reach out to them, my Lord, and may your name be glorified in their lives. Let your glory shine upon them. I pray for each and every woman who's watching our program today, my Lord. Even the problems we did not mention here, reach out, my Lord, and bless their lives for your honor and for your glory. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
Amen. So this is how we want to wish you a happy Women's Month.
Yes.
Even if you're not in South Africa.
Yeah.
May this month have meaning in your life.
Yes.
And we start our 5 weeks together, drawing strength from weakness. You know, difficult times make strong men. In our case, strong women.
Strong women, yes.
So the very difficult times you may be going through, they are meant to make you strong. Next week, we will explore one more, with more stories, how to overcome your fears when you're going through that situation. Is it easy? We shall find out together. Until then, God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.